Drank some coffee. I need some more coffee. But I'm not gonna drink more coffee. It's gonna be bad. Hey, alright, so... we are making a new pathbinding algorithm. No, it's not pathbinding, it's line casting. I'll be honest, why did I bother doing this? There's like no reason. I feel like all it did was just complicate it. So I'm just converting it to source bounds anyway, so like, what's the point of that? Movement mod parameters. Is this correct? Like, I feel like this might be okay. Raw dynamic grid. Hello, ho ho. How's it going? Yeah, you're lucky. I was sitting here procrastinating for like 2 hours. Where I started. I had to go to the store because I ran out of milk for my coffee. Also, it's Monday. Is it here? Oh, this is mouse up. I think we're looking for this. I took the whole week off last week. It was amazing. Like vacation or just time off. Just chilled and gamed. Fair enough. uh I think this is actually like wrong. I think this should be this. But this is single target, so this should be just like that. Oh, I wonder if it's still glitching out. I never figured out why it started doing that. No, it isn't. Is it doing that shit? So weird. I love it when it just starts doing weird things. When you have this open, the editor, the cursor is this orange square. And if I mouse up, you get this blue square below. The blue square shows the base level. Like that's Z0. And the orange is now like Z5 or whatever. So that you can draw things in the air. But it was just flickering between blue and orange. for no reason. I hadn't changed anything in the shader. I hadn't changed anything that was even remotely related to it. I hadn't changed anything that was in the same script, and it was still wigging out. And that's one of those things to me that's like, uh-oh. Why is this happening? And it happened like twice. Like I turned it off and tried again, and it happened, but now it's gone. Weird editor versus build stuff, maybe. I don't think so, because I'm only running it in the editor. In the Unity editor. So I don't know. Probably some dumb cache thing. But how am I gonna do this? Draw dynamic grid. Check line collision. It needs to happen before this, because the draw dynamic grid step, it just takes what we've already established and just renders it. Oh. So it's here. We need to do it here. And then here it's gonna be here. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm creating a system that if we have player object here, we have an enemy here. If this character charges this target over here with an attack, we are now going to determine where this character ends up. And that's gonna be like here. Because if we check the top right, when it reaches here, it's gonna be like that. And then maybe this character gets shoved one tile. Then we have to calculate where exactly is that shove. If it's one tile, then it's just gonna be like over here. That's where he ends up. There. So he's just gonna move over like that. Because he's getting hit from this side. So he's gonna get bumped over there. But what I need to do then is when I'm hovering this target, it needs to show both positions. Like it needs to show you're gonna end up here, he's gonna end up here. So that we can know that before we click. And the system should more or less be set up. But we need to do the line cast. Check line collision. Find targeting area. Same thing here. Why am I doing this? Am I stupid? I was like, oh, I want to be able to pass in an object and a position. Like, oh, I need, or I don't know. Like maybe the thought was I need to be able to also pass in only a position or the bounds instead of the object. So I need to have these pre methods that then call the core method. But all I'm doing is just source object dot modified tile bounds. So it's just a vector 6 anyway. It doesn't do anything else. Like, why am I doing that? origin position. But yeah, it's not just line collision though, is it? It's not that simple. We actually need to actually, I think this is not correct. This is single target. But this should be... This is like line casting. This is like a line targeting, I guess. But then there are different types of lines, like you might have a line AoE that goes from point A to point B, but it actually just like targets the ground, right? And it just goes through everything. But then you might have line targeting that goes from point A to point B, where point B is an object and it collides with like the first thing that it finds. Or specifically, you can't use the ability because there's collision in the way. And those two things are completely different. So here what we need to do is, if it's single target, then we can just do all of this stuff. But otherwise, if check for line to target full body line to target used for charging attacks and movement checks. So we find the object, and then we have to say if main controller dot action to trigger dot what's that gonna be? Target type has self movement component. No, I mean that's kind of true, but I don't feel like that's accurate. I feel like maybe we should just add more targeting types here. Line AoE. Line target. Maybe? Line charge, maybe. Line, I'm gonna say line target, sure, whatever. And then action to trigger dot target type equals line line target. Then we're gonna do line collision. So we're not gonna do line collision. We're actually gonna do this find targeting area. And that's gonna do line collision internally. Oof. And then we're gonna do draw dynamic grid here, I think. I think all of these things would be okay. Current target, set highlight. I feel like it should be like this, actually. Like, this should come before that. And then we're gonna have an if-else here. And the if-else is gonna be... This is not gonna be like that. Anyway, I'll be right back. Okay. So, again. We find the target. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter whether this comes before or after, right? It just doesn't matter. It's just, if it fails, if the line check fails, then we have to question, is the single target valid? I want to program easy things. Easy, fun things. Why aren't there any easy, fun things to program? Why is making video games so hard? Why can't it just be easy and simple? Oh, Dark Short, how's it going? Hello, Agent Ghost, how's it going? Is programming humans is ethically dubious? I would like to program AI. And I mean, I don't mean new school AI, I mean old school AI. What's your PC specs? I don't know. It's got a CPU. What am I programming? I'm working on I mean, the project is an RPG. It's a tactics RPG. But right now I am working on targeting methods. So I've implemented like blast AoE, single target, point-based AoE, those kind of things. Now I am working on line targeting. And more specifically, I am trying to implement like charging attacks that change the position of the user and potentially also the target. That's what I'm doing there. Is it hard to make programs? Depends on the program. Depends on the programmer. Yes and no. Programming is easy. Writing complex logic is hard. Any interest in RTS games? No, not really. To be perfectly honest. In my personal opinion, RTS games are purely a PvP genre. And I'm just not interested in that. I think they're not good single player games. I'd rather make like a grand strategy game. Or single player. There's no difference between playing an RTS game and a fighting game single player to me. And that doesn't make any sense for me. What do I do other than programming? I don't know, like eat food, play video games. I guess. I make art too, but I haven't done that in ages. Hello Suki, how's it going? Let's go on Monday. I'm from USA. No, I'm not from the USA. From Sweden. Alright, let's see. Find a targeting area. Action to trigger. This returns PF result. So in here, we need to find the target. PB AoE, blast AoE, line AoE. Single target. Your voice is deep, good for dubbing a character. I have a Swedish accent, it's like impossible to do anything with. Unfortunately. So, is it just gonna be like this? Line, target, AoE origin bounds. origin bounds is then the source. Source bounds. Dot min vec3. This just needs to be source bounds. Target area size. AOE size. Source bounds dot size. It's a medieval setting. Okay. Man, I don't know what this is supposed to be like. We've got AoE size, but it's not supposed to use AoE size here. AoE size might as well be 0. Its AoE size is used in order to generate area, like a circular area. My first game programming? Not exactly. I worked on a couple of other projects, but I haven't finished anything. Ay. AoE origin bounds. If pattern equals null. See, the issue here is that this is for blast AoE only. So the question is, do I do if action dot targeting method equals blast AoE? Which unit am I doing right now? Not exactly doing a unit. Line target. No, equals blast AoE. I am working on just implementing units in general, or characters rather, and their attacks. But there are like different types of targeting that need to be implemented along the way. So now I am doing a line-based targeting method. So that a unit can charge from its position to another position and attack something. Combat engine? I mean, yeah, I'm working on the combat right now, yeah. Trying to make a combat prototype. So this is then blast AoE, right? And then we need else if. Line, target type blast AoE. This should be line AoE, else if line target, else debug.log, target error, targeting type reaching faulty thingy. Okay, so we then need some code. Which isn't gonna look like this exactly. We're only gonna have one list. We're gonna check one line. But the line collision might yeah, the line collision is also gonna have to be updated. So this is gonna be something like... I'm gonna copy it over, but I'm gonna delete like all of it. So we're not really doing this. So we need a vector 6, and that's gonna be target. Yeah, AoE origin bounds. Does this game have cannons? Potentially. Might be some cannons. But yeah, okay, the AoE origin bounds is actually not the source. It should be like this. But the size is the source bounds.size. Think. I'm not thinking about any factions. I'm just trying to make this work. This is gonna be AoE target origin, or AoE origin bounds, I think. That's really all we have to say, AoE origin bounds. I think. Target center. Origin position. Okay, actually the targets should be different. Let's see. Target list. Target position. Straight line, target by tile or direction. And casting a line from one target to another, or from one position to another. And that line doesn't have to be straight, like straight X or straight Y, it can be diagonal anyway. It's just like it's easy. I already know how to do that. It's just everything around it that's like annoying to deal with, because the line itself needs to have a certain thickness, and that thickness is the size of the target, or the size of the object, right? So I need to pass that in properly somehow. And then we also need the target bounds, so we can know how big that is in order to properly target the center of it. Which I don't even know if it's the right choice, but I think it is. That's what we're doing for now, at least. But my brain is tired. Find targeting area, target position. Target position. Line target. AoE origin bounds. Target position. Source bounds dot size. Target area size. That's where the issue is. I think I need to change this to vector 6 int. Which means we have to change it to target bounds. New vector 6, mouse tile position, vector 3 int 1. Wrong. Here, this is target bounds. And the reason for that is I need the target bounds so that I know where to target in the target. Because here, if I'm targeting like this, here we have a normal sized character, here we have another normal sized character. And it's being targeted like that. But if you have a larger one, a larger character, then I still want to aim it at the center. And that's why I need to know how large the object, like how large whatever we're targeting is, so I can target the center. So I can't just have a target position. And then here, Rough weekend. Offset. There. Oh my god. I think I need to recalculate this. But I don't think all of it. But I think I should just do all of it. Like just do this. And then we just do it over here as well. Some of it's the same, but not all of it. So, outer size. AoE origin bounds, that's the target. That's the outer size of the target. So then we're getting the inner size. And then we're getting the target center position. That's Minvec 3 plus outer size divided by 2. I don't remember what this is. It's unused, that's what it is. Something like that. Because what we need to do here, really... Actually, we kind of need the entire thing, don't we? Like, I need to create new bounds. What am I sending in here? Line collision. Origin position. Tile to pathfind. But that's not gonna work either. This is why I almost think I need to make a new line collision algorithm. It's not an algorithm, it's a method. I don't even know what an algorithm is, I'll be perfectly honest. I genuinely don't know what algorithm actually means. A process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem-solving operations. Okay, so it is an algorithm. Because we need to find the tile to Pathfind 2, but at the same time, I need to have the bounds of the target to know that we have found that. Hmm. Why do I have an origin position here? I have an origin position and source bounds. What the fuck is that? Target center position plus offset. Ever seen War Tile? Don't know. Might have seen this at some point. Perhaps. RTS would be stretching it. I mean, is it even real time? Real time but turn based. Okay. Um, feel like I have to just add something here. To Pathfinder. There's too much stuff here that I need. Oh my god. Because I need... Hey. I have source bounds. I have an origin position. I have a tile to pathfind. So the origin position is point A, tile to pathfind is point B. But I need to have... I need to have a line size as well. that could come from the source bounds, but it might not necessarily be that either. So we need line size. We need origin pivot point. We need target pivot point. But this could just be pile A, pile B. And then we have a target bound. Right, so if we then say, instead of tile to pathfind, we do this here, where we say vector 3 int tile to pathfind is like that. And then the vector 6 tile to pathfind is target bounds. And then we need a vector 3 int line size. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think we need that. Because I could get that from the action, but yeah. I think we can just get that from the action. Because it's like either the line has a size or the size has to be based on our bounds. And I feel like if the action doesn't have a size, then it should be based on the bounds. Something like that. Maybe. No. Let's do line size there. Tile delta. So this is now tile to pathline minus origin position. So we're gonna do that instead. Oh, god damn. Now I have to remember what changed and what to change to fix it. So here we have tile to pathfind dot size. This is now not necessarily true, is it? I mean, does it matter? Am I overcomplicating it? I think I might be overcomplicating it a little bit. Like, if I line cast from the center... This is how it ends up. We get some positions like this, 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 and this. All right. No, this would be like that. That's where we would end up. I think. So if we instead were to cast a line from the bottom left, I just don't know if it actually matters. I think it necessarily does. Then we'd end up here. 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 Like, that's the same. So if we just stop being stupid, we can line cast from the bottom left. But I still need the bounds. So it doesn't help that much. But I don't need to do like weird offsets and stuff. size. This is gonna be line size. There's just so many edge cases, it's breaking me. Ugh. Well, architects, yes, edge cases are the worst. Ugh. Oh. I'm just thinking, because it's like I'm creating a location here, and the location is something I use in order to generate the highlight grid later. Because a location is basically like a position plus size. I might just have to update it in order to contain offset. Oh, it's just so annoying. Because if I am pathfinding from, like, let's say we are doing this here. We're pathfinding from the bottom left to the bottom left of a target. And if I do that, I can just find this tile, and I'm gonna say, okay, this target is, or in this case, it's that we're casting a line, right? That means that every step of the way is a new location, and that location has a size, and that size is the size of the line that we're casting. So we then find this tile here, and that creates a line of this size. Here's another. So it's gonna fill in like this as it goes along. However, if the source object is a larger size, then it's still gonna cast from this, because this is the inner size, right? So that means it's gonna do the same thing, except now it's actually gonna need to here it would be like that. No, it would be like this. This is how it would end up here. If this is center to center targeting. But it really depends on if this The issue is the issue is if this here is just like a line AoE with a set size, then sure, that's fine. But if this is based on like the character size, like maybe it's a charge or something, then now we are actually like we have an outer size here. So that means that every step of the way, this is the bottom left of the 4, but it's actually going to be like this, right? Like that's where that is. Because it's actually this whole size, but we're just casting from the inner tile. Because this is the best we can do when it comes to center. Right, like... And... I guess... Yeah. And then you'd end up... Bottom left would be there, so we'd end up with that, and then it would have to look like this. Well, no, actually, bottom left would be here, because it's that size. And then it would look like that. No, it wouldn't. Bottom left would be here. Because it's actually this, but the full size is like that. So we'd end up with that. How about this? It's going alright. Well, I hope. Kind of. Sort of. For Monday. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, it was good. Oh. And so then the issue becomes that pathfinding should actually be like the tile to pathfind should also be a bound. The origin position should be a bound. Target bounds, source bounds, target bounds full, source bounds full. Origin position. Man, I don't even know. Current rate position is origin position plus min vec 3. Previous tile equals origin position dot min vec 3. Why am I setting previous tile and then previous tile again? Tile delta, tile to pathfind, min vec 3, origin position, min vec 3. Map position, min vec 3. Point in AABB, source bounds. But I changed its name to source bounds full. Source bounds full. Source bounds full. Hey. I'll be right back. It's time to race Bladesk. I don't want to stand. Standing is so hard. Oh, I can't stand it. So basically, I have to rework all of this. We need a vector 3 int. Current sub map position equals vector 3 int dot 0. And then we need to create some kind of like offset. Like maybe a vector. Bound offset. No. No, it just needs to be an offset. Vector3 int sub position offset equals tile to pathfind dot minvec3 minus target bounds full dot minvec3. Is that correct? Because not exactly. The sub position offset is our bounds. It's source origin position minvec3 minus source bounds full dot minvec3. Because then we have this is the source here, but this is the full. So we take this, which is, let's say this is 2, then this is 1. Then we take 2 minus 1. No, it needs to be the other way around. That way we have this, which is 2, and this is 1. Then we have 1 minus 2. That's minus 1. And that's how we get the offset. So now we have a minus 1. And then we check if that, then we need to do we need a for loop here. Nested one. And y is gonna be sub position offset dot y. And this is sub position offset dot maybe not. Maybe we just do 0. And then here we can say line, this is line size dot y. Line size dot x. And that's where everything needs to happen. This Right now, there's no issue, and I don't think that there is an issue because it's turn-based, so it doesn't matter. But this could be multi-threaded for sure. The pathfinding could entirely be multi-threaded, or maybe not, actually. No, it couldn't. It couldn't. Never mind. Actually, I think part of it could maybe be. This is a little complicated for me after this weekend and this Monday. Ah, man, oh, I'm so tired of this fucking targeting shit. Like, there's so much. Oh, it's so hard. I should have just made a new method for everything. Like, whatever. It would have been so much easier. Like, just like the whole don't repeat code thing. It's a lie. Like, just repeat the shit out of the code. It makes everything so much easier. The only time it's a problem is when you have to refactor. That's the only time. Like, and that's when you consider using things if you can, I think. Ay, ay, ay. This is my biggest problem as a programmer. I always end up doing this, and it just becomes so complicated to the point where I just can't keep it all in my head. But this basically needs to be like... What are we doing here? We're gonna check. should I call it? This is check. Charge line collision, maybe. Holy fuck. So what we need to do is we need to go through every tile and we need to check if here. Oh, Mr. Salamok, how's it going? We need to check this. So we need another if here. For that and that. And then this needs to be current submap position equals map position minus sub position offset plus line size. But we can set the line size is vector 3. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, I'm doing all right. My brain is a bit cooked. We need that. And then here we need to replace all of this with current submap position. And then we need to check if current submap position is collider. Then we break. That's that simple. What's the project? I'm working on a turn-based RPG called Legends of Terrestria. Right now I'm trying to implement targeting methods for abilities. It's tough. I'm implementing like line-based targeting, like charge attacks that move the character and can also move the target. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. And it's frying my brain a little bit because it's Monday. And also it's hard. Oh. Unfortunately, it doesn't run right now. I worked an isometric tile map chunk generation system. It's quite a pain in brain. Yeah, if you take a look at the tile matrix here, you notice that it's got 3 dimensions. But right now I'm working on it like it's a 2D based thing. And then later on I'll worry about like elevation and stuff and figure that out. Cuz it's a top down pixel art project. But I've made the world in 3D using it's like a block based or it's a voxel based system. So the world is built out of voxels. It's not a rubber duck issue. Like I try to do that. Like that's why I tell chat what's happening sometimes. But today it's more of a it's Monday and the weekend was tough and I'm like trying to focus, but it's like slipping away all the time. Because I more or less know what I need to do. Like, I'm doing line casting here. I have this line casting algorithm that I've been using a lot. I've been writing like remarching rendering engines. This engine is also remarching. This is my 5,000 line long compute shader that renders the game using remarching and also remarches sunlight and shadows. And I'm using that same remarching function in order to remarch from the target or from the source to the target. And then we enter in here into the actual remarching and we check if it's inside of the world. And then we check what the size of the line is, because the line might be thicker than just one tile. And then we use that to do a for loop here. And then we set the current sub map position by taking our current map position, subtracting the offset for the position based on the size of the source plus the line, and then we check if the current subpixel is in the world, and then we check if the current subpixel is hitting a collider. If it does, then we break, and that's where I am. But what I need to say is if the current sub map position is within the target bounds full, then Here I'm doing like max distance. I don't really think that's accurate. If I is greater than or equal max distance, but that shouldn't really happen, I would say. Target found. I mean, it depends. But really, it should not, depending on what the attack is. Currently, it's a charge line attack. So it should never reach max distance. Because max distance means that it has gone from here to here. And this, like... Let's say we have a character that's 2 times 2 in size. It will only ever reach here. Which means that this is 2 steps before we have reached the target. So what we need to do is we need to check these current submap position. We need a dictionary. I don't know if a dictionary is better than a list. Like in terms of performance, because all I need is list vector 3 int, right? Visited tiles equals new list vector 3 int. That's it. So, and then we can say before we do a boundary check, we can say if visited tiles dot contains current submap position, then we just continue. Yeah. And that's where I'm not sure if it's like making a dictionary and just checking if it contains the key versus a list and checking if it contains the value, if there's any real difference there. There's also something called like a hashed table or something, isn't there? How does a hash table work? Wait, is that even the same thing? Like, is that even relevant? A collection of key value pairs that are organized based on the hash code of the key. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hash set dictionary with no key. hash set. Yeah, I was just interested in, like, because I've seen people say that there are like better ways for doing lookups and stuff. Hash set dot contains is O1 versus ON for list dot contains. I don't know what O1 means. I don't. But from what I understand, it's like the hash lookup is better. O1 is the same cost no matter how the big collection is. ON cost grows linearly with the size of the collection. Right. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. I kind of understood that, but I don't understand why. But that's fine. I could just, like, YouTube that at some point if I feel like it, but I think for now we're just gonna use a list. To just keep it within the realm of things that I understand. Because it doesn't need to be fast right now. I can just change this to hash set later and it'll probably just work, I think. In fact, I can probably do it right now. But I don't know if there's going to be any weird edge issues. Big O notation. Okay, thank you. Big O. Oh, I hate looking up programming videos though. There's nothing worse because it never covers what you want. And it's just like, there's just infinity videos. And it's just never right, ever. And it's like 7 minutes long every time. Like, I've been doing some web dev with Next.js, which, yeah. And I was just trying to, like, get into it a bit to, like, understand the basics. It's just like Next.js in 10 minutes or whatever, Supabase in 10 minutes, Vercel in 10 minutes. It's like, it didn't help at all. Okay. We got that. And then if this contains, then we break. Though, no, that's not what we're gonna do, really. We're gonna do the same thing we're doing here, right? what we're gonna say is if we have found that, that means target found equals true. Then we have to say movement mod parameters dot target new position. No. Movement mod parameters dot source new position equals step history I minus 1, I think. Assuming if step history dot count is greater than I minus 1, then we can do that. Else we'll just break. Where is it? Where's it finding a temp tile? Oh no, it isn't finding a temp tile. Oh! And then we also need to do this. Well, technically I just changed this to be a specific special line casting algo that is for charging. We could turn it into lines, which is weird. It's weird because I had to make a new line casting function to cast lines with my already existing line casting function. Because before it was set up to only cast very specific lines from an AoE here. If this was like the center of the AoE, it would only cast lines out like this. Out to edges. This or whatever. So that's like how it was made. So now I just made a new one to make it easier for me. But it's full of clutter and trash, so I don't know how this will turn out. So We don't want to break. But we do want to set. No, it's not that simple. I have to repeat it. So I can't just set the map position to be okay, so what's happening right now is the source is in pink. The source has charged the red target. So we now have found that, okay, we are here. Or rather, we are here right now. But because we are here, we are finding collision with this target. And as such, we can then say, yeah, the previous position was where we'll end up, right? And what we then need to do is we need to continue past this target for X amounts of steps to calculate where this needs to go. Depending on how I do it, right? Because it depends. Like, let's say this is a charge attack. This is shield charge. He's charging in with his shield. The idea is you knock back the target. If that is one tile that he gets knocked back, what I can do is I can just find where this person is, and then we do one more step beyond that. But as you can see with the line here, that means that if I charge from here to here, hit this guy, his position will then be here. Which means that the shield charge has just pushed him to the side. Which means he's now still in point blank range with the person who charged. So it can also be that if I charge here, we hit this side that pushes him up. So that you can charge diagonally, but you can only push people up, left, right. That makes sense if there's one tile, but if there are like maybe you push him like 4 tiles. Now that doesn't necessarily make sense. Because in that case, you might want to do that. Right, and push him in the correct direction. Yeah. But it might be fine. Because the reality is, I'm actually not line casting like this. It's actually incorrect. We're actually casting from the center. Because otherwise it bugs out. You have to cast from the center. You cannot start this line tracing algorithm from from 0, or it bugs out. It's a limitation. You have to add, like, if it sets 0, you have to add like 0.001 to it or something, otherwise it doesn't work. So if we're charging from this position, we're actually charging from the center, because I add the positions are always tile based here, so we're always charging from a tile. And because of that, I can just add 0.5. That way we always check from the center of the tile as we trace a line. So I don't really know where there isn't a center. The center is actually probably like here. It's gonna end up like there somewhere. And with that, you can see it's probably always going to shove him up. But in edge cases, it might not. Like, what if you charge into him exactly diagonally? What happens then? Like, that's an actual problem, too. Because what is that supposed to do then? Like, if it can only move you one tile, a diagonal tile is 2 tiles. And knocking you back, knocking you back 2 minimum, I think that's not great either. Yeah. See what I mean? Like, there's always an annoying edge case. Always, always, always. This is why I think at some point when you are trying to have more complex movement stuff, it makes sense to not use tiles. But not using tiles is also ass. But it makes all the math and logic a lot smoother. Because you can just push people units away. But the issue with non-tile based is that it introduces the pixel hit. Where, like, oh, you want to hit 2 targets, now you have to sit there and find, like, the exact pixel to target both of them. And there's, like, no actual way to solve that. Like, the only way you could is if you introduce some kind of, like, microgrid. So instead of having, like, actual pixel units that you can stand on, it's more like larger pixels, kind of, that you can move between tiles. But, and, you know, it's kind of ass. Like games like Phantom Brave or Makai Kingdom are honestly only harmed by doing that versus just playing the way Disgaea does. just becomes weird and difficult. This diagonal charge issue is an actual problem. I actually don't really know how to solve that. I could solve it by because it's the edge case of one distance push that causes the issue. So I could allow attacks that push you one tile to push you two tiles if the diagonal allows it. Or yeah, like something like that. I could if it's a movement of one, we could step twice, and if it steps twice in the same axis, we don't do it. If it steps twice but in different axes, then we do it. I think that's the only way to really solve this pushing issue when the range is 1. And then for a range of 2, we simply don't do anything special. It'll be like, if you hit somebody diagonal, if you push 2, it'll just push it one tile diagonally, because that's 2. So it'll kind of be like it'll not be perfect, but I think that's the best solution. It's an edge case. What can you do? The problem is, like, let's say you have that charge attack. What if you have like a follow-up to it, and you can attack before the other guy's turn? Now, if you charge diagonally, any attack that has a range of 1 might not reach because you hit them diagonally. Now here, what we have to do is this. We need a for loop here. For. And it's gonna say max dist. And then we're gonna iterate map position up until we reach max dist. And then we set I to 0. But why am I doing less than or equal to max dist? It's because I want to be able to check the start position. But here, we don't need to do that, so this should be less than. But I should actually be set to 1. No. It should be set to 0. I'm not sure. I'll be right back. think this should use this. How about we sit down again? I hate that I bought a manual table. I hate it. I hate it. Where is temp tile? Where does temp tile come from? Down there. Temp tile should actually just be down here. This is not where we validate tiles. Yes. We do not validate the tile there. I'm like a reindeer. I'm just staring. No thoughts. Not a single thought currently. Here, all we're doing is checking for collision. That's what this is. All it's meant to do. I need to change the location too, somewhat. think. Because I don't have a way of telling it what type of tile it is. What should it draw? Is it red? Is it yellow? Should it be any color? Like, what is it? It doesn't know. All it knows is that it's a validated location. And because of that, it's just gonna draw blue. That's not what I want. I need to be able to tell it what it represents. And it doesn't allow that right now. And that also is gonna mean that, well, not necessarily. I can just say public tile color. And color, grid color. And then here we just say grid color equals. I don't know if an enum can be null. No, it can't. And then maybe we can add a location. No. This is incorrect. This should just be I. But shit, this is still not easy. Because what's gonna happen is, even if I set I to 0 here, when this finishes and it repeats, it's gonna set I to 1 immediately, because I is set when the for loop ends. So if I want it to start at 0, it's gonna have to start at -1, I think. That doesn't really make sense. What am I doing here? It's a good question. What am I doing here? I'm doing tile-based targeting acquisition. I'm trying to create an algorithm for targeting in the line and then drawing where your character is going to end up if he moves with the action, and if the target also will move, and draw where that will end up moving to. I'm almost out of juice. It's so close. Nah, you know what? Like, what's the point? I can't think anymore. I would take a break and come back, but we have a meeting. So I am cooked. Yeah, it was a rough weekend. I was like sleep deprived, all of it. And then I slept poorly tonight as well. And this is hard. Like, it actually is hard. I mean, it shouldn't really be, but it is. It's not as hard as it comes off, to be honest. But it is hard. It's honestly one of the things that I'm really bad at, to be perfectly honest, is like I don't really feel like I have a good grasp on like how to handle information, handle data. Like when it comes to results of something. Like here I have a struct here somewhere. Here, Pathfinder result. Like here I have a struct that just contains some data based on what happened. And sometimes I kind of feel like I should do more stuff like this. But I also feel like this is usually too much as well. And it means that you have to write a struct somewhere or a class or whatever, and it's just kind of annoying. Because like for what I'm doing right now, I feel like it would be good if I just had a, like, I don't know if it should be a struct, but probably. If I just had a struct that said like, this is where the player ends up, this is where the target ends up, and just those kind of results, and then you just return that, and then you just use it, right? And that's it. But I feel like if I do that, like line charge result. It's such a stupid name. Like, just by figuring out names pisses me off for it. And then just having something like that. But I am actually already doing that too, because here in the line collision here, I have a class called movement mod parameters. And in that mod, or in that class, it contains a nullable source movement and target movement vector. This is basically, it tells us how much we're moving. The Y is forward movement, X is sideways movement, but I think sideways movement isn't really something that would ever really be a thing, but maybe, I don't know. And it's got two booleans, distance from target and distance from source. Distance from target means that if that is true, then the source movement vector is actually how far away from the target we are, or how far away from the target will end up. And distance from source, I don't know. I think that's just like normal function. And then I have two more. Source new position, target new position. So I pass this in as a way of telling what's going to happen with the movement vector. And it also, like, even this not being null means that there are movement modification parameters in play. So if this is null, nothing happens. If it isn't null, we check what is gonna happen, and then we use those variables. And then if the position changes, I return that by just editing this class. That way the reference changes. So it's kind of like returning. And then I can just read this class after we are done with doing the pathfinding. I think that's okay. But I do think I need to do this more. Some degree. Instead of just having functions that edit things in other classes, and I don't know. I just feel like there's something wrong with how I program when it comes to certain things. Just makes things clunkier than it needs to be, but at the same time it's like not, because this is clunkier. So I don't know. But yeah, that'll be that. It's a shorter stream today, but until next time, thanks for hanging. Have a good day. Bye bye.